Add to stream. Do do do. I want to know. This is actually. We'll see. We'll see if this is actually working. I am live. I don't see that. I don't see that Periscope is linking though. Is Periscope up and operational? Periscope, are you there? You know, when we are experimenting with these things, it's a toss up. And here's the reason why. I want to share with you. This is going to be kind of a 2-minute tip, rolls into a rant versus a opportunity. So if you're here, thank you for being here. We're live on YouTube. It looks like Facebook is not connecting yet. I'm looking at Facebook. I'm not really sure why. Let's see what happens here. Edited because it cannot be toggled or deleted. Okay. Well, hey, regardless, we're here. We're streaming. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you so much for for the option to be here. And a few years ago, a few simple years ago, this was not even possible. What we're doing today is streaming to or working to stream towards Facebook Live, YouTube, Periscope, uh, caster.io from a browser from StreamYard. Now, the reason I'm here is because I want to share these things because I think it's important where we are right now in history to determine that I've actually lived in a time where television, radio, you had producers, you had people scheduling your time, you had to have permission, there's authorization, there's very clear, concise rules and regulations. Broadcasters had to adhere to principles and policies and all of these things. And to get something on the air, it was a process. And so now people that are fearful of getting on here and doing video and, whatever, regardless of what kind of video, if you're on Instagram, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, or any other platform that you choose to display your feeds, it was nearly impossible. So now you have permission. You are the one that has the opportunity to do this. Now, the downside of this is that there's a lot of content that is being distributed. It's being delivered to the world at a faster rate. I think we're producing probably more content a day than all of the combined information in history up until a few years ago. I don't know what the cutoff point was. So, if you know, I'd love to have you drop a comment in the on the platform wherever you're going from. It's like these things are really important to understand because we're in a transition period where now we have all of this content, we have all of this material, and we're broadcasting this stuff or blogging this information, or it's words, images, audio, and video. You pick, you choose, you decide, or you do all of it or none of it. And here's the thing is we all have our branding efforts in place. And if you're not managing your brand, even your personal brand, somebody else is. What they're saying about you or what you're contributing is being broadcast to those around you. So even if you're in an organization and you're doing good work, you want to be able to strengthen that message or reinforce your skills. Because here's the reality of it is that we all learn skills as we grow and develop and evolve in our whatever we're doing. And this theme is, it's like the tip, you learn something, you acquire a skill, and then all of a sudden you upgrade your skill or your teacher that is teaching you those skills, and then you acquire a few new skills, and then pretty soon the student becomes the master. This happens in any discipline that you look at. And 200 years ago, you had apprentices that actually took, like a blacksmith or a butcher or doing some trade. You had apprentices work underneath the master craftsman, and then they learned a new skill. They acquired these things. You see this in chefs and all kinds of industries. And I'd like to hear, some of the industries that may not conform to this process, because I even sports. I mean, you start out with little league, and then you graduate into upper, more, and then you get coaches, and then you have training and training and more training, and then you have coaches and you have more training. All of these things are defining who we become as a result of time, effort, and energy that goes into the craft, whatever that craft is. And I know this is kind of rambling, and my point is that if you're starting out in video, if you're starting out in marketing, or you're starting out in media, or you're just starting a business, there are all these things that you have to learn, all of these things that you have to acquire, and all of these things that you have to generate in order to get your brand even on first base. So, video right now, just like this, is part of that process. You have the process of, okay, I can just pick up my phone. I can just pick up my phone and I can actually say, hey, I'm going to shoot a video and I'm going to talk about this and I'm going to say, hey, what's up? And that's where you can start. You don't need a fancy camera. You don't need fancy lights. You don't need anything. Reminds me of the song, but I'm not going to start singing because that would be weird or funny. I don't know which. But anyway, so just get started. And then as you acquire new skills, you acquire more confidence and you acquire a better understanding of what your voice is. You will continue to grow and evolve, just like the apprentice to the master. Nobody woke up and, I guess maybe some prodigies, sat down at the piano and started playing, and they were amazing day one. That does not happen to the normal human individual. So I encourage you to give yourself permission to be full of exploration, full of excitement to do something wrong so you can say, "Oh, that was the experience. That's experience that taught me something else I didn't need to know." It's just like this platform here. I'm on caster.io and something's not working. It's not going to stop me from moving forward. It's not going to say, oh no, life is terrible. My technology is broken. Like, keep going. These things are going to happen. Life takes place. Life is fascinating when you look at it. Find gratitude in the day. Just find gratitude in learning and educating and evolving through this process. It's amazing what you can do. In fact, I created this article on LinkedIn. I shared it on Facebook and I shared it on Twitter and I shared it a couple of different places. So it's 10 simple ways to follow up. Now, this has been weighing on my mind, and hopefully it's been top of your mind as well. And you can go read the article, just track it down, go to my profile on LinkedIn, and it's there. You can find it. 10 simple ways to follow up. Or you can go to theleadwizard.com and go check out the blog. Now, the Lead Wizard is a platform that I just started. It's like, okay, I've accumulated all this information. I keep bouncing all over, getting different opportunities, and I'll do blogging over here. And my goal is to go through this evolution, set up a platform that I can actually do blogging, words, images, audio, and video. And I have a course there, the same course. It's 10 tips for following up, 10 simple tips for following up, I think is the title. And if I were an expert, I would have all these, I would have all this memorized in notes around. However, I just turned the camera on and I wanted to do this because it was on my mind. And I thought, I'm going to do this because statistically, this actually works. Turning the camera on and sharing what's on your mind actually works a good majority of the time. Vertical video is really popping, Instagram. And my point is I'm going through this process just like everyone else that goes through this process, even though I've done it dozens of times. This is something that I'm continue to be passionate about, and people ask me about it. I just had a request today. It's like, hey, can you do this tutorial? Sure, I'll love to knock that out for you. Let me put it in a class. So I want to start putting these courses in a package that people can also access and achieve results. Follow-up is one of the key efforts you can put in your systems and your solutions to grow your business. Staying in contact. A good friend of mine in Seattle, Luke Papineau. Luke, hey, heads up, giving you a shout out. He is one of the people that taught me years and years ago how valuable it was to follow up. I mean, I've known Luke since, early 90s. The early 90s when I got into technology. I can't believe in 6 months it's going to be 2020. Random. Going back to the story. Anyway, following up and just touching base. It doesn't have to be with an agenda. Amy on LinkedIn, she put a post out there, and I read it today, and this is kind of what fueled the fire for this post. Is she was talking about people in LinkedIn and on social media in general about, okay, they connect with you. They love to connect with you. I want all these connections. And the first thing they do is fill your inbox with, hey, buy my stuff. Not cool. That's like walking up to a stranger on the street and saying, hey, would you like to buy a watch? They'll joke, the trench coat and the watches. It doesn't really work it might be funny in movies. It's not funny in real life, and it's not funny on social media. I have met some incredibly valuable, just amazing people online, and then followed up and met them in person. And it's just amazing. And I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I fall down all the time. It's like, okay, yeah. You have the peaks and valleys. It's like sound waves, like waves in the ocean. You have ups and you have downs. Family happens, life happens. Everything can take place to disrupt your groove, And sometimes you just want to say, put this on pause. I'm going to take a day off. Whatever it happens to be. The reality is it's okay. You can come back and you can continue to pursue your goals. Progress every day. I look at progress every day. Some days are more than others. Other days, not so much. Not so much. And I just wanted to put this video out to try to relate to people that are struggling with this, because There's two things: being bombarded by all kinds of information that you don't need, being asked by people that you have no interest in their services, their products, or what they're offering. Or I get, 50 inquiries every single week on somebody selling, you know, websites for $25 an hour, SEO or something. I build websites. If you took, you know, I, I created 2 websites over the weekend. If you would look at my profile or learn something about me, you would know that that is something I already do. And if you ask the question or got to know me, you might know this. Email automation. You know, yeah, I do that. I, I know how to do that. Systems, building strategy, all of these things. I've spent years and years and years doing this stuff. However, when somebody offers that service to me, I just feel like I feel so dismissed. And maybe you can relate. Maybe, drop in the comments how you feel about this, because the reality is they haven't taken the time to get to know you. They haven't taken the time for you to trust them. You haven't, they just assume, or they're just, it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. It's not always a numbers game. It's a numbers game when you know somebody's number and you could call them up and they'll bail you out of jail. That's a numbers game. It's like, hey, those are your friends. Keep them close. Keep them tight. Be effective in your network. Be effective in your community. Share value. Deliver value. And the way we are and the place that we are, just like I can broadcast to multiple platforms all at once, is the same reason people can reach you all at once. So you cannot deliver value without opening the door to receive some things you might not appreciate. So I'm going through this, and here's the catch-22 is like, okay, the more I expose myself, the more I put myself out there, the more this kind of thing shows up. So as I'm thinking through this process, if I continue to build relationships with the people that I love and appreciate and admire and respect, maybe those conversations will take precedent over anything else that's taken place. The power to say no is an incredibly valuable tool. The opportunity that you have to actually remove things from your day, your life, your surroundings, that's so powerful. That's an incredibly powerful tool. So these are some of the things I'm thinking about. And I invite you, you can go to russjohns.com. And I have on linked the lead wizard. On the lead wizard, go check out the course. It's free. I'm just putting it out there right now. I'm creating some other courses that I'm gonna be charging for. Not gonna lie. I still, this microphone, this platform, these things, it takes something to run this stuff. And I'm not gonna, BS anyone saying, hey, take all my free stuff. It's free forever. The reality is that if I'm delivering value, you're delivering value, I want to do business with you. We can exchange this. We can offer some assistance in so many ways, so many valuable ways. I receive so much value on LinkedIn. YouTube. There's so much information. You can learn anything you want. Now, the question about that, let me go back and forth. This is where my mind works is, okay, how many courses do I need to take before I get started? And sometimes the answer is, I don't need to take another course to get started. I just need to get started. That's why this video is here. I encourage you I beg you, if you're struggling with the excuses in your head about why you can't start, stop. Just stop. Just gets just pull the trigger on one thing. Just take an action and a next step on one thing and get this thing started, because you're not going to have a perfect time. There's not going to be the best opportunity. There's not going to be everything in alignment. There's and the more you think about it, the more you're going to overthink it. That's tweetable. So I want to wrap this back up. All back up. This is a 2-minute tip and a rant, right? So the rant is that I'm just really feeling like people are overwhelmed. They feel disconnected. And there's two ways you can approach this. You know, you can't be open to opportunity if you're unwilling to share. So that's a given. So share what you have, produce results, manage your brand, manage your message, manage your expectations, learn what you can every single day, produce something in the world that brings value to others. Make sure that you have an opportunity to answer questions to a certain degree. Become available to the people that you appreciate. Take feedback only from those that you're willing to sit down and really listen to. You know, somebody that you trust their opinion explicitly, because trolls and people out there are trying to cut people down for who knows why. I have no understanding of why that even takes place. However, it takes place. So do not listen to the noise. Go out there and create good stuff so you can learn something new and create better stuff. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to, and you just have to start in order to get it going. Day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Looking back, you can't imagine how you didn't know it. And when you're looking forward, you're thinking, how will I ever learn it? Well, you do it by doing something every single day to get out there and learn it. You do something every single day to pursue your goals, to pursue those action items, those next steps. And so I'm going to wrap it up here because I'm just rambling. And I also know that kindness is cool, smiles are free, and you enjoy the day. And with that, my friends, so long.